Record. Hello guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Regan's Rugby Strength and Conditioning. Not a solo podcast. I know I've been harassing your ears for probably too long. I've got a cool guest here. He's a rugby development coach from Australia, which makes him cooler than me straight away. And I think he's a high performance coach. He says he coaches a lot of guys looking to get professional contracts. So Patrick Searson, cheers for joining us in the early morning in Australia.
Thanks for having me. It's 7:30 a.m. It's fine. It's a great time.
That's too early for me. You've already trained. You just told me, yeah.
I've trained at 6 a.m. up since 5. It's great.
Cool. So people know a bit of background. Why don't you give us a little bit of an intro on you? Let's say some coaching or playing and all that jazz. So a big intro on Patrick.
Sure. I've played rugby union since I've been 10 years old. Played all through school, got as high as playing the shoot shield over here, which is just the highest level amateur you'll play here before you go professional.
Cool.
I play number 7. So I am, one of those annoying players. I like to be annoying. I'm absolutely in love with strength training. So ever since I was 15, I actually started doing boot camps with my brother at 5:30 in the morning. And from there, after school, I became a coach, a personal trainer, then did my strength and conditioning certificates, and just fell in love with it. Like I read about it all day long. I apply everything I preach, and I just want to help guys become strong, really. It doesn't matter what age. I think guys should be strong. If they're strong, they're going to be good rugby players.
That's wicked. And do you play now? Are you still playing now?
Still playing now. Last year, I still played in that first grade division in Sydney, and I might have another crack this year. We'll see.
Nice.
I haven't decided.
How do you split your time with sort of coaching and training? Is it a daily thing with your club? I still don't know how sort of high level that would be.
It was 3 days a week at my club.
Yeah.
Mainly it was at night time, so like 6:30 or 6 p.m. till 8:30. And then you had your training regimes on top of that. I had all my own training stuff that I did, obviously because I know my body better than most. So I would do all my training on top of that. Plus with my coaching, it's been a lot easier in the last year compared to when I was younger. The last year I've been all online, and that's been a massive help to it, having the time to train and more time for myself. So compared to actually when 2016, when I first was playing first grade, I was doing all the training, plus I was training people face to face 60 hours a week. So I had a good time.
I remember when I competed in strongman for a few years, and I actually stopped when I started working in a gym because I had a gym manager job and then the personal training on top. So that was like 60 hours. So even if I wasn't crippled from rugby and strongman, I probably would have given up around then anyway. So what does a training week look like for you then? I didn't know you were still playing, to be fair. So what's a typical training week?
At the moment, I'm still in my preparation phase because we'll go back in March. I haven't actually gone back to my pre-season yet, but that would be a lot of conditioning one day, and that would be skills on another day. And they usually do a video session or a tactical session on a Monday as well. So three days a week, and they split them up.
Is that for you, or are people you're training?
That's for my actual rugby training. So at my club. For my actual rugby training, it would be splits of upper body and then a lower body and power day and a bit more of a speed day.
Mm-hmm. How important are rest days? I have to tell some of these guys that the off days are for off days.
Yeah, off days for off days, but I still like to move. So like I still like to walk or or do my mobility work. So like it's an off day from having to lift heavy, but it's a good day to do other activities and just to get that blood flowing, not just to sit on your ass and not doing anything.
Daily activity is never something I used to hammer home, but with the lockdown, a lot of the guys I know who are like literally bedroom to kitchen to home office, like you got to get out and do stuff. And I should have said an off day is like, don't just sit and do nothing and eat chocolate. a walk or whatever. So I don't tell many of these guys to do like a mobility workout on an off day, but if you want to, that'd be the best way if you're taking it pretty seriously. And then you said to me, there's a few guys that may be looking for a professional contract. So how's it different training them to maybe someone who is more of an amateur player? Like, is it more time, or what does it consist of?
Yeah, it definitely depends on their time. So it's just obviously their values come into it. So if a professional player, if someone wants to become professional, then they're going to have to put more time into it. Okay, they're going to have to put more time into their skills. They're going to have to put more time into their strength and conditioning, into their mobility work. Because one of the biggest things that stops guys from getting those professional contracts who are on the cusp is injury. And if I can make them more mobile, if I can make them strong, if I can get their proprioception up, then the likeliness of injury is going to go down. So for the guys trying to go elite, then they've got to put that time in. Whereas if someone is, they just want to play amateur footy and just want to have some fun with their mates, then that's all good. All right. They might not have that time to put into all those, to put in all the hours into that. So for them, it's finding about what is going to get them the best result with the least amount of time. How can I make the most out of their time? So that's what I'm thinking about between those two different athletes.
And if someone's breaching in, I'm really picking your brain here because you're training people a lot higher standard than me. If someone's breaching into like professional contract, where does the in-house take over? Or like do players in the top leagues like still have their own coaches, or is there a typical place where they'll say, sorry buddy, now I'm going in-house? Or like how does that work with the top leagues?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a lot of guys that will come see me, and that might be the case when they actually, they start actually getting into those squads. They have to do those things specifically, or they keep working with me and they show me what they're doing, and I'll be like, hey, this is maybe what you need on more on a specific level, and here's what this program's missing, and here's what I think you should do. Right? And I give them stuff to do on top of that, or to how to work around things. Because that is one of the big things, those coaches want to see them doing their programs, and that's all good. Like, I want them to do that. But at the same time, even in those professional scenes, I don't think the player gets that one-on-one attention enough, which is what I can give to them.
I assume that is only like international level, right? Where maybe the player would get personalized for them, or is that not the case? I don't even know.
Not so much. Not that I've seen that they get really that personal.
Still
level. Not. When you look at someone's how they like, I like to see how someone's moves and look at their joints, and I can see, all right, well, the ankle's not moving so well, so that's going to put pressure further up. Their gait cycle's not working so well, so we can work on that. There's lots of little things that I can see in an athlete and help them with, more than if they had one or two strength conditioning coaches and they've got like a sort of set program. And a lot of those, a lot of those big clubs will have sort of set programs for positions and where that player is at. And then that works well, because when you're in that team environment, you guys all want to push each other. You guys all want to, be pushing each other up, to get the best lifts and have that bit of morale. And this is something where I can actually help that individual a bit more, maybe on their off days, or if before they get to the gym, he'd do this, or maybe they're having problems with a few tendons, and I can give them some specific things for that.
Cool. And then what's the split between sort of strength and conditioning and sort of rugby development skills for you coaching guys? Or is there a general split, or it's kind of like whatever they need help with?
On top. So just once again, it depends on how, where they're at in their development, what position they want to play. I like guys to be able to work on their skills, all the time. Like just give yourself 10 minutes a day, and you'll be able to build up those skills. So if you can, one of the big things I actually get kids to do is actually learn how to juggle. So just juggling balls, just to build up that the plasticity in the brain. So that's one of the big things I get to do. And then getting them passing against the wall with, have you seen those half balls?
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
Getting to do those, getting to work different kicking. So I get them to learn how to kick on both feet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of building up their spatial awareness. Is I want their brains to be connected to their feet, their hands. I find that is going to convert over to all their skills. If
So you're a flanker and you teach kicking?
Oh, yeah, I'm not a great kicker myself, but I still work on it.
It's what, sorry, what?
I still work on it. I still, like, I'm not going to be the one taking a 3-point drop goal and a 40 out, but
cool.
I would like to be able to just connect the brain to my feet.
And then we touched on mobility before, and that was a question that one of the guys in the group actually asked to talk about. And I feel like with the guys local level that I speak to and I've helped mainly, it's almost unheard of. And the first thing is, my shoulder hurts and my back's bad and my this, and I'm like, cool, how much time do you spend trying to fix it? And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean fix it? And it's kind of almost given up, or it's kind of just accepted. Or most of my guys, unless they need more, it would be like a half an hour session on what they would need. But would you say it's more than often? What would you prescribe?
Once again, it comes back to how badly they want to get out of pain. You know, if they want to get out of pain fast, then I would put more work into it. I would really, hone in on that problem 3-4 times a week, if not more, and you can fix up a lot of problems. Playing rugby, you're always going to have those niggling injuries. You're always going to have those impact injuries, which it throws out things. I think we've all had them playing rugby. Like this year, I did my AC just purely from contact, but I got it working again within, I don't know, 6 weeks. I was doing full range dips again, and I could press again, and that was a grade 2 strain. But I put the time into it to fix it up as fast as I could. And that's the thing. So like if you got something wrong with your hamstrings or your hips, your lower back, a lot of these things are all tied together. So with their own strength training, then I would be looking at, with their strength training, is incorporating a bit more range into their strength training, and the actual strength training being part of the mobility training, if that makes sense. So, instead of doing a half squat, doing split squats instead and mobilizing their hips while they're doing it.
I think I saw one of your posts I just got a playback. No, one of your posts lately was about squatting and half squatting. Yeah, bro, you're going to lift 200 kilos. But if ever your bum's close to your heel on a game, like a ruck or in any position, you're going to be useless.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to pick the goals. Like maybe off season, if you want to break a lifelong PR on something, maybe then even some people would not agree with that. But if you're in game, you need to be strong through the whole range. You need to be like dipping full length and stuff. And range of motion is key, very key.
Yeah. Well, when you think about like a lot of the injuries that happen, if you were strong in those end ranges, and then it's just going to give you so much more protection, because a lot of the time, your body will try to work out a way to not put you into those ranges. And if you have the strength there, it just allows your body to move into different positions a lot better and a lot more efficiently, a lot more effectively.
I remember in a strongman competition once, it was beginners, so it was like amateur level, and the guy was obviously a bench press king, like chest out here, shoulders like this, but like he could barely lift his arms up. And the exercise was log press, where you actually have to go quite upright and push your head forward. And because in that range he was so weak, he like almost lost that event, but he won like everything else. And that's like I think a lot of prop forwards don't realize that they need to lift like that with their, if you're listening to this, you need to fully extend your arms overhead to get the jumpers up. And there's plenty of other ideas, scrummaging as well. You need to have good mobility in the back. And that's just position that people don't think about it. But if you are weak, if you lift your arm above a certain amount, then you're going to be fucking useless. Yeah.
That's funny about the bench press, because a lot of people, they judge their bench press by how they're going to perform on the field. It's like, can I get my bench press up? And I know I did that as a kid, because it's like, if I can just bench press this, I'm going to be playing so well. But then, like, I show players, I go, okay, so you want to bench X. Why is that going to make you a better rugby player? How often are you going to use that on the field compared to your legs, your calves, your feet, your hip, your lower back that are working so much more? Like, if you want to actually be a better rugby player, shouldn't you put more time and effort into that compared to a bench press?
When I was doing my strongman training, because most of it's overhead and at shoulder width, it's not like a bench press width. So I didn't do a normal like fingers on the rings for like years. And in the gym, I was the strongman, but I had a crappy bench because I would never do it. I do lots of close grip, I do lots of heavy dips, and obviously lots of overhead. But I bring my arms out about 6 inches, and I was like, well, compared to the rest of my lifts, just like weak as hell. So that was
the bench press is just a skill. Like, once you get that skill of being able to lock up the lats on that wider range, you would have been stronger. You just had to develop the skill of it, which means you've got to do it more. But like, in terms of strongman, that's not making you a better strongman.
No, it didn't help.
If I'm teaching, if I've got programs in my my programs, it's a bench press. It's usually a close grip, just like you said, because of bicromial, which is shoulder width, and that is just so much more relative to what you're going to be doing in a game, which is working in that range in front of you compared to working out here and having your lats locked up. And
what was the word you used? Did you mean the sideways bar? What was the word you used?
No, I do use sideways bars too, but like just in general, just where you have your arms in a close grip. But yeah, I use the football bar too.
Yeah, I thought it was called a football bar. I thought you had a fancy Australian name for it, but yeah, I thought football bar.
Yeah,
I think it's wicked. Another topic question was Olympic lifting, and I've seen plenty of clips on the gram. Have you practiced that before? Did you do any weightlifting, or is it purely for the rugby?
I practiced weightlifting. So I first got into it when I was younger. I did a little bit of CrossFit, and then I got a proper coach to teach me weightlifting, more the Chinese style of weightlifting. I absolutely love it. Like, it's just, I find it so much fun. And in this, what do you call it, the force power curve, it's sort of like right bang in the middle. You get power clean, which is your power, and then you have your snatch, which is more getting to that quicker, the velocity side of the scale. And so it's a really good movement to train because, one, it's a skill, right? So I love to build up skills in people. I want their brains to be able to get around new movements, which are a little bit complex. So the brain has to develop while also applying power, right? So there's lots, and the way I program it in is I start from the very basics and I build them up. So the most minimal range in the weightlifting, which is just like the power position, I teach them that first and get them really strong there, and then I move them down, increasing the range and actually getting them more powerful as we go, while building up their brain, their skill, their proprioception, so where they are in space and time. There's some of the reasons why I really love weightlifting, and it's just so applicable for rugby as well.
I think some of the guys that are watching, I get questions about, and I tell them ask them what sort of power training are you doing, and they don't know the difference between strength training and power training. But power would be more explosive movements, which are more relevant to the pitch, to the actual game, to changing direction, and the strength stuff, which compared to that is a slower movement, but that's what's more useful in sort of other parts of the game when you're not going as fast as you can. Have you got a more advanced way to explain that? Because that was probably the amateur level explaining it.
If you think of a strength curve, right? So if you think of up this side towards our force end, we would have our big 1RMs, right? Which are lifting maximal weight, all right, up that side of the curve. All right, we need that side of the curve because we do need to be able to move a maximal force, all right? So that's going to develop that. And then under that, we would have your lifts around, 80 to 90% of your max, and that's going to move faster, right? And then we're just going to move down that like a straight line on the different speed that you're lifting something and the different weights. Okay, all the way till we get down. So you'd have up the top, you would have in terms of force, would be what's called your 1RMs. And then in the middle somewhere, we'd have our power cleans. And then under that, we would have our power snatches. So as we go down the curve, it's how fast we're moving. And then right down the bottom and how fast is our plyometric training. And And even that, within that, we have our different sections of how much force and how much speed is going out there.
Mm-hmm.
So so right at the end of the curve on the speed side, the real fast side is your plyometric training. So your jumps, your lands, all that sort of jazz.
And you break down a lot of the weightlifting movements. It wouldn't be a full snatch catching at the bottom.
No. I'd start right in the middle, which is your power position. So right at that triple extension, and you got to learn how to actually use the quads properly and get into that triple extension while using your traps. Right. So how you do an exercise is what's going to convert to the field. Okay. Rather than just saying, I'm going to do this exercise, it's more the execution of that exercise. Just like if you're playing rugby, you would want to practice good execution of your skills and your plays so that it actually converts to the field. Like, you don't want to be practicing rubbish and then going to the game and not knowing actually how to, actually pull that move off, if that makes sense. It's exactly the same as weightlifting or any strength movement you're going to do.
I really love doing weightlifting as a supplement to some of the strongman, the big heavy strength moves. And when someone would come to me, I would sort of decide, like, do they have the time to learn that? Because some of the guys, they barely go to the gym that might come to me, and it's just general training. And it's like, is it worthwhile giving this guy over the next few months 20 hours of learning a power clean, or can we get something similar from another movement? So like you said, it depends on the individual, what their needs are and how much is going to benefit their game, if the game is their only goal. It seems like most of the guys, it's purely for the game. Whereas most of my guys, they might play, but also they love to get the guns out and get the rig out as well.
Definitely.
Another topic was bodyweight training, which during the lockdown and COVID bullshit, I didn't do much of 2019, and now I obviously learned to incorporate it a lot. But let's talk on the sort of topic of like the high performance athletes. So let's say someone who's like a forward and they've got no gym to do, and strength is something they need to work on. How would you reckon you would program that to help them? Is it, you just tell me.
So if I was looking at someone like that, I would be looking at where their weak links are straight up. I would be looking at how they move. And then if they have absolutely no weight, they probably still weigh maybe 100 kilos, which is still a lot of weight. They can still get real strong. And then once I would have seen, where they're at, I would be looking at getting into some probably single leg work first. I always like to start with single sides. There's so much that you could be done with your body, like with your own body weight. It's crazy, and it's very applicable to the field. So I'd be looking at doing a lot of single leg stuff, lots of Nordics I can do. I'd be looking to get into doing handstands, which, for a big forward, you wouldn't think that a big forward would be doing handstands, but that ability to lock the body out and hold themselves up, once again, it comes back to that spatial awareness. It would be training their body to get the core on, be training their body just to feel strong. We're going to be locking up everything. There's endless supply of exercises they can do body weight, and you can always make it harder. But increasing tempo or how fast they do a movement, there's lots of ways they can actually make it
progress in some way. Yeah. Because I got some people that message me, say, I'll wait for gyms to open, then maybe I'll get in touch. I'm like, what difference is that going to do? Like,
exactly.
Tell me what you're looking to do. If it's like most people I help, get your weight down, feel fitter for your rugby, you don't need a gym for that. You're gonna be fine. If he says my only goal in life is to deadlift another 20%, I'm like, okay, I can't help you right now. Wait for the gyms to open. But there's plenty we can do. What was I going to say? With body weight or with just the stuff at home.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if their goal is for rugby. Like you said, 100%. If their goal is to deadlift another 20%, then they probably do need that gym, or they need a bar and weights. But they're better off doing some sort of leg exercises and doing some hypertrophy work on their legs, and then coming back to the gym with bigger legs so they have more potential. So everyone could get something. There's plenty that can be done. And definitely if their goal is rugby, then you should be able to dominate your own body weight before you even get to weights.
Yeah, good point.
If you can't move around your own body weight, then what's the point of doing weights?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm nicking that.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? We were chatting a second ago about transitioning online and how I stroke of luck just before the lockdown stuff started transitioning purely online, which was end of 2019, and you did it as all the lockdowns came.
So I actually went online about a year and a half ago, actually. So actually before that, sorry, nearly 2 years ago now. I was, like I said, I was working in the gym 60 hours a week, and I was just a bit over that, and I didn't feel like my reach was as big as what it could be. So I started to see how I could help more rugby players just outside of the gym I was working at. And yeah, at first I wasn't picking up many people at all. I was getting by online just, and I thought, all right, I'm going to leave my job in the gym and I'm going to travel Australia.
Nice.
And that sort of made me go all in on going online. So I traveled Australia for 8 months and maybe picked up another 20 clients or something in that time.
Yeah.
Just really made sure I was just really enjoying myself. And then when I came back, I started working in a different gym again. And then COVID came around, closed the gyms, and I was like, I didn't really enjoy working in the gym again. I just wanted to reach more people online. And so I thought, I've really got to put more effort into how I communicate with people so I can get the value across of training with someone online rather than a lot of people just doing it on their own. Which is, a lot of people just go into the gym without a program, or they have no map of where they want to go. And so that was my big thing I wanted to solve was people that weren't or wanted to train and wanted to train well, but couldn't afford a trainer or in person every week. They could come to me and I could solve that problem for them.
Sorry, go on. Interrupt there.
Yeah, so now I've built up to about 240 clients online.
Oh, go on, lad. That's well good.
Yeah, so and it's just been how I communicate now has been a lot more honed in to getting people to realize the importance of actually having that map of where they want to go.
I think when I was in the gym and realizing that the only people that I can help is only within a few mile radius of my gym, and that proportion of people is not massive, let alone the guys that I like to train. I like training people from my rugby club or that wanted to do some strength training for strongman, but that was only like a small percentage because again, there was that geographical radius. And then when I started putting stuff out there, doing stuff in another way and focusing and talking about the specific market that I'm training, obviously more people, you can reach people around the UK. Australia's even bigger. There's other people that might just reach out where I'm not sure if you have adverts, but I have adverts and people pop up from God knows where. And you find that your skill is perfect to lots of other people that are further away than just a couple miles from your gym.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I have guys in Vancouver. I've got a couple in the UK.
That's cool.
And it's just like, whoa, I've got one in Spain. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. It's amazing the people that you can help from anywhere, and I love it because they all send their videos through and I get to help their form out just from a video. And it's just their trajectory of where I can take them from where they were. It just absolutely makes it massive. I love seeing how people progress.
And with the guys we train, yours is the same. I'm sure they're rugby players, so they want to train, they want to get it done, and they might not need us next to them for 5 hours a week saying, "Go on, John." But if we gave them a plan to follow and said, "Why don't you eat like this and let's report once or twice a week," it means there's less hands-off time. You don't need to pay as much money to the gym. I'm guessing the gym took most of your bloody money back when you were in the gym. Like most guys, we want a plan to follow. We want someone to make sure we're doing it. And that's why I think the online industry, even pre-COVID, was starting to take off because you can give the same, if not better support. And obviously it's cheaper because someone doesn't have to pay for you standing there and obviously paying the gym rent, paying for the travel. I don't know why you train at 6 o'clock, because I love my sleep now. I'm sick of my 5:45 alarm. That's why I stopped going to the gym.
I just love getting up. I just love feeling that I've got up, I've started my day. I don't know. I love that.
Do you train twice a day? Oh, you got rugby in the evening, don't you?
Or sometimes I do. Depends what I'm training for. At the moment, I'm just training once a day, and then rugby in the evening. So I haven't gone back yet, but I'll go back in the next couple of weeks.
But so you'd have a gym-based session, or like a whatever strength and conditioning session, and then rugby skills, pure skills, or do your club include like fitness there as well?
At my club, it includes fitness, yeah.
As well, fucking madman, Patrick.
Yeah, that's right. Like it's always funny because I usually match it up with big leg day, because otherwise, and then my legs will be heavy, but I like that because it just reminds me of the game. So like that last 20 minutes when your legs start getting heavy, that's me straight away in our fitness session. So
cool.
It just makes me push harder to beat everyone else still.
Mm-hmm. Sweet, mate. That was most of the things I was going to run through. I'm going to jump on Facebook and see if there's any if there's any questions. Sometimes there isn't, so don't feel disheartened. But we'll just see if anyone's on there. Oh, quite a few. Oh, we've got two here. Craig Williams says, mass building whilst doing body weight drills. I'm going to hand it over to the champ, Patrick. Mass, what would you suggest? I'm guessing he says he wants to build mass with body weight.
So is he saying he wants to put as much muscle on, or is he trying to put on as much fat? So
all I can say is mass. I'm assuming it means, I think he's still live watching now, so I'm sure he's going to appreciate this answer.
So mass building, I would be looking to getting volume in, a lot of volume, so a lot of reps. There's one thing I really like to train is called dense strength, which is almost like a CrossFit workout, but you set 10 minutes on the timer. It will say squats. Every minute for the 10 minutes, you're going to do 10 squats. All right. And then the next time you come back, you up it to 12. Okay. So like the next week, you'd up to 12, 14.
By a week. Okay. I understand.
Yeah. So every minute, on the minute, you do 12 reps.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that for 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes, you'll get 100 squats out. Right.
Plus, yeah, at least.
Yeah. Well, 100 squats in that minute. So you want to be aiming for 10. The whole idea is you want to be able to scale this up. Either if you're in the gym, you scale up in weight, or if you're not in the gym, then you scale up with reps. So it's a really quick and easy way to get a lot of volume in, and you can do it with push-ups, you can do it with rows, chin-ups, anything like that. So if you're looking to purely put on mass, I would be looking at how long your sets are actually going for. Okay, so your sets, you want to be looking at that. For depending on position, I would be looking at 30 to 50 seconds, and then having a good finishing set, which lasts at least a minute, where we want to release a lot of growth hormone.
Mm-hmm. Coupled with getting the calories in if you want to put on weight.
If you're going to put on mass, then you got to eat.
Yeah.
You've got to eat. I like to hit 2 grams of protein per body weight, per kilo. I have a lot of steak, and I would match that with rice. A couple other tricks you can do is have a lot of honey, because the honey is easy to eat, very calorie dense. Other things you can eat too, I would be looking at milk is an easy one, but a lot of people are intolerant to it, so not always the best choice if you want your guts to be not so happy with you.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one I was thinking of? If you find that you're struggling with eating a lot of calories, a simple trick I like to use is apple juice in the morning. Makes you pretty much hungry all day.
Yeah.
That hit you in the morning, and you'll be serious. You'll keep eating.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't feel full anymore after that for some reason.
There's some guys that would ask me about, I'm doing a dirty bulk, and they tell me it's like just absolute trash, garbage. And I'm like, that's not it. Like, you got to have good meals, but just tons of it. Like, it's not just total calories. You can't have a pizza and a Ben and Jerry's for 4 months and think you're going to be stacked like fucking Eddie Hall or someone. It's got to be still good quality food, just a shit ton of it.
Go and watch Eddie Hall's 25K calorie day or something on YouTube. It's absolutely it's almost like a heart attack waiting to happen. And he even says like it's not healthy to do that.
No.
And then you go back to footy and you're absolutely struggling. Like your body's not working properly. So it's not the best way to go about things.
Did you see that, off topic here, did you see the Eddie Hall video where his missus eats his strongman diet?
No, I haven't.
It's so funny. I try not to delve on like just random episodes now, but she eats his like old strongman diet, and she's stick thin. She must be like 8 stone, and she gulps down like 6 massive meals and like 2 massive shakes.
Wow.
It's actually really funny. His podcast, or not podcast, his like YouTube show is actually like funny as well. It's not just some like douchebag training, but he's actually pretty funny. We got one more. We got some more coming. Craig says he's doing his best with eating. Well, if you listen to that, Craig, eat fucking more. Who's next? Jack Boylan. Advice for trying to get into a pro club. Again, I'm handing that over to the rugby development coach. I don't know much about this guy. He's in my group. I'm not sure what stage he's at, but I'll give that one to you again.
Like you said, I don't know much about you, so it's really hard. Contacts.
Facebook stalking.
Contacts are always helpful. If you know people, it's going to help you go a long way. But depending on your position, go and find what your weak links are. So where you are not performing well and what could take you to the next level. Like if you watch yourself play, you'll be able to see it. I think that's a big thing that people don't take into account is like, okay, here's where I'm strong, and they like to keep building up those strengths, but look where you're weak on the field and fix that. All right, once you fix that, start putting, I like to get guys to start putting videos together, get confidence, tell people what you want to do. If you want to play pro, start saying it out loud, start telling people, all right, because no one's going to help you if they don't know about it. And if you weren't, I know over here, if you're not a high school prodigy, you almost don't get picked over here.
Really?
So yeah, it can be a bit like that. So what I think you should do is put it out there. You want to play professional, and that can open you up, because sometimes putting your goals out there is daunting. It's like almost like, oh my God, what if I fail? What if I don't make it? Well, what if you do? What if someone goes, oh yeah, okay, this guy wants to make it, and he's putting all the work in, and maybe I'll just let this guy know about it, and he might know someone in a club, or here's what you need to work on, mate. This is how you can get this contract. It's things like that.
You never know where you're going to spread that seed, and it's going to go to the right place.
That's right. It's all about spreading that seed, and it just takes one person to find it and go, oh yeah, okay, let me help you out with that.
Because making goals public is important for anything. Doesn't matter if you're pro contract or fitness or work or whatever. Like if you're telling people or putting it out there, I welcome guys onto my team, and I try and tag them I ask them to tag them in a post, because it's good for their friends and family to see, and then they're going to support them. There might be the one question of, oh, what are you doing that for? But generally, after the geezery stick that they might give you for something, they're going to support you, and they're going to realize, oh, to be fair, he's actually trying to do that. I actually know this guy, and like people do want to help, even if you think that you might get a little bit of like stick once from your mates. Like get the goals out there, put it out there. All my mates used to rip my videos, and now they don't comment, so it just happens.
Oh, my mates still rip RDC. They call RDC and all this stuff. I'm like, hey, how's going to work 9 to 5?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's funny. That'll be another topic for another day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm just going to recheck if there's any more. No, that's it. So that's some live help from the man. I wouldn't have answered those questions as well as that. So cheers for that. But yeah, cheers, Patrick. That's everything I was going to run through. So if anyone wants to get hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
My Instagram or Facebook are both Rugby Development Coach. It's very, very easy to find. My website is therugbydc.com. Both easy to find me on. It's easy to contact. I'm a quick replier on Instagram usually. Usually checking that, because that's where a lot of my clients come from.
Cool, wicked. So yeah, if you want to get in touch with him, he's training guys all over the world. Drop him a Instagram is probably going to be the quickest way.
You can always check my website too.
Cool. But yeah, that's it, Patrick. I think I'm going to leave it there. So
Sweet.
I appreciate your time, buddy, giving us some knowledge of the the higher level, which is definitely, I admit, higher than the guys I train, but it's all good to hear about.
That's all good.
My breakthrough. Awesome. I said cool and awesome at the same time. Cheers for that. And I'll see you guys later. And if you're listening, if you want to get in touch, you can find me on regansrugby.com. Hit me up on any of those. Cheers, guys. See you later.